Welcome back, students, to the next session of A Horse and Two Goats. We'll start this session from where we left earlier. The foreigner now understood by the tone of the other that a question was put up to him, and the question said, "Do you know when it is going to happen?" He speaks about the end of the world. So he just understands that there was a question put to him, but he doesn't understand what actually Muni is trying to explain and what he wants to know. I am not a millionaire but a modest businessman. He says, I am not a millionaire but I am just a ordinary businessman. My trade is coffee, that is, I trade in coffee. Amidst all the wilderness of obscure sound, Muni caught the word coffee and said, "If you want to drink coffee, drive further up in the next town. They have Friday market and there they open coffee hotels. So I learned from the passers-by." So here Muni says that out of all the amidst everything, he could just pick up one word which he was not even sure. Still, he understood that he probably is speaking about coffee. He said, if you want to drink coffee, you can drive down further to the next town. They have a Friday market and there the coffee hotels are open. I know this because I've heard it from the passers-by. The foreigner said, I repeat, I'm not a millionaire. Ours is a modest business. After all, we can't afford to buy more than 60 minutes of TV time in a month, which works out to 2 minutes a day. Now here he is talking sincerely about his economic standards of USA. He's talking about the economic situation of his country, and he says that and he relates it to his own and personal development. He says, I'm not a millionaire, I'm a very ordinary businessman, and for I can't even afford 60 minutes of television time in a month, and that would come across just 2 minutes a day. So I can just get an advertisement done for just 2 minutes. But he says that when there would be increase in our sales, I'll be able to buy or sponsor a 1-hour show regularly. Then the visitor, feeling that he had spent too much time already, said, Tell me, will you accept a 100-rupee note or not for the horse? I would love to take the whiskered soldier also. But no space for him this year. I'll have to cancel my air ticket and take a boat home, I suppose. So now he says, he ponders that he has already spent too much of time here. And then he says that I hope 100-rupee note is good for this horse. I would love to take this whiskered soldier along, but as it would occupy too much of space, I won't be able to take it this year. And for that, I'll have to cancel my air ticket and take a boat home. That is, he would be taking a voyage by sea. Ruth can go by air if she likes, but I'll go with the horse and keep him in my cabin, all the way if necessary. And he smiled at the picture of himself voyaging across the seas, hugging his horse. He added, I'll have to pad it with straw so that it doesn't break. Now, when he speaks about his own voyage, he probably is visualizing how is he going to take the horse, hugging it and taking it very carefully so that it doesn't break. I have my station wagon, as you see. I can push the seat back and take the horse in if you will just lend me a hand with it. So he says, I have my station wagon, I have my car, my vehicle here, and in case, if possible, please lend me your hand so that I can put this horse in that wagon. Lend me a hand and I can lift off the horse from its pedestal after picking out the cement at the joints. We can do anything if we have a basis of understanding. So he says, why don't you lend me your hand? I can lift off the horse from its pedestal after just taking out the cement from the joints. And it's just the basis of understanding that we can work together. At this stage, the mutual mystification was complete, and there was no need even to carry on a guessing game at the meaning of words. The old man chatted away in spirit of balancing of the credits and debits of conversational exchange and said, in order to be on the credit side, O Honorable One, I hope God has blessed you with numerous progeny. I say this because you seem to be a good man, willing to stay beside an old man and talk to him while all day I have none to talk to except when somebody stops by to ask for a piece of tobacco. But I seldom have it. Tobacco is not what it used to be at one time, and I have given up chewing. I cannot afford it nowadays. Noting the other's interest in his speech, Muni felt encouraged to ask, how many children have you? With appropriate gestures with his hand, realizing that a question was being asked, the red man replied, I said 100, which encouraged Muni to go into detail. How many of your children are boys and how many girls? Where are they? Is your daughter married? Is it difficult to find a son-in-law in your country also? Now, the old man realizes the state of mutual confusing state. They are baffled, for they don't understand each other's language. But then he feels that he can talk to this man, and he keeps on talking informally to the foreigner. And he says, you seem to be a God-sent man. You are blessed. You have numerous progeny. And then he adds on that you are even a good man, and you are even willing to stand beside an old man and talk to him all day. Whereas other people, they don't even stop. And in case even if they stop, they just ask for tobacco. He says, now I've stopped chewing tobaccos as I cannot afford it. So I don't even have tobacco with me. And noting that the other is interested in his speech, Muni felt encouraged, and he asked, how many children did that red man have? To which he realizes that probably a question was put on to him. So he says that he is thinking about the amount which he had quoted. So he says, I said 100, which encouraged Muni to go into details. And he asked, how many of your children are boys and girls? Where are they? Is your daughter married? And is it difficult to find a son-in-law in your country too? In answer to these questions, the red man dashed his hand into his pocket and brought forth his wallet in order to take immediate advantage of the bearish trend in the market. He flourished a 100-rupee note and said, well, this is what I meant. So in answer to these questions, the red man dashed his hand inside the pocket to take out the money, and he took out his wallet and just wanted to take advantage of the situation, and he immediately showed him a 100-rupee currency note and said, well, this is what I meant, that is, this is the amount what I wanted to give it to you. The old man now realized that some financial element was entering their talk. He peered closely at the currency note, the like of which he had never seen in his life. He knew the 5 and 10 by their colors, although always in other people's hand, while his own earning at any time was in coppers and nickels. Now, the moment he realizes that there is some financial element which has entered their talk, and he tried to look closely at that currency note, for he realized and he knew by the color of the note, which was 5 and which was 10, but he couldn't understand a 100-rupee note, though he had seen in other people's hand, but he had never seen right in front of him, for he has never been able to earn more than copper and nickel. That is, he has just earned paisas, and it has never been that he had earned a note. What was this man flourishing the note for? Perhaps asking for a change? He laughed for himself at the notion of anyone coming to him for changing 1,000 or a 10,000 rupee note. He said with a grin, "Ask our village headman, who is also a money lender. He can change even a lakh of rupees in gold, sovereign, if you prefer it that way. He thinks nobody knows, but dig the floor of his puja room and your head will reel at the sight of the hoard. The man disguises himself in rags just to mislead the public. Talk to the headman yourself because he goes mad at the sight of me. Someone took his pumpkins with the creeper and he for some reason thinks it was me and my goats. That's why I never let my goats be seen anywhere near the farms." His eyes travel to his goats, nosing about, attempting to wrest nutrition from the minute greenery peeping out of the rocks and dry earth. So, after seeing that note, he probably thinks that he wants the change, and he thinks that how can this man think that I can have a change for this huge sum? So he says that why don't you go and ask the change to the headman? He'll be able to give you because he has enough which he has hoarded in his house. Though, on contrary, he dresses like a rag or a beggar. He dresses like a rag and he doesn't show his actual wealth. You need to go and talk to him yourself because he gets mad when he sees me because he feels that I stole his pumpkin with the creeper or my goats did that. Though that's the reason I have never let my goats go near his farm. And then he looks at his goats, his eyes travel towards his goats, trying to see whatever greenery was available, that with this kind of greenery, whatever they could eat for their stomach. With this, we come end to this session today. We'll continue in the next class. Till then, stay safe, stay home. Thank you.